2005, I was a young Tampa Bay Ray, and I had a teammate at the time whose sister worked for Microsoft in Seattle at his office buildings. And she's like, hey, do you guys want to come in and have lunch with Bill Gates? He has players in from time to time. And we're like, shit, yeah. So we had about 9 guys come to Microsoft and up there in Seattle when we were playing. And I was a Tampa Bay Devil Ray at the time, 3rd year in the big leagues. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet Bill Gates. This is going to be awesome.
I'm going to get a free computer.
Yeah. So we walk in this huge, huge office building. We go up like the 3rd floor, and we go to this big, huge door. And this door looked like something out of a Greek castle, just ginormous, right? The doors open wooden this way, like that. Very weird for the shape and the way the building was designed. We walk in, and this room was probably 200 feet long, about 50 feet wide, and it was just a long table that would seat about probably, I would say, 100 people, like a rectangular, long.
Creepy. Yeah.
The walls were nothing but concrete, no paintings on it, no color, dimly lit small lights over the top of the hanging down from the ceiling. There was no energy in the room. It was cold, and it was weird. So we all sit down. We're having hors d'oeuvres, waiting for Bill Gates to show up. He finally walks in. He comes around, and we all stand up, shake his hand, introduce. When I shook his hand, Chrissy, and I say, never trust a man that has this handshake. It was soft, dead fish.
Oh, limp.
It was clammy, and it was the softest hand I've ever shook. And there was no eye contact. It was just and I just felt when I touched him, like, this guy is off. There's something off about this guy. And so we sit down, we're talking, we're chatting. I mean, the guy you couldn't understand half the stuff he's saying because he's so much smarter than we were.
Is he tall? Is he did he seem slight?
No, he's like 5'6", right?
Wow.
He's a little fella.
He's bitty.
Yeah. And so he's sitting there talking. We're talking about computers and blah, blah, blah towards the end of the lunch. And I was like, so what's next? You're going to have like holograms from Star Wars, like real technology coming up, like before iPads and shit, right? And I guess, I don't know. I'm kind of getting out of the computer game. I'm starting to look into pharmaceuticals. And this is back in like 2002, right? 2003. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking into all kinds of different things. I'm starting to love the humanity of pharmaceuticals, vaccinations, things of that nature to really help people that are, cancer research.
Alive. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going, what the fuck? That's weird. Okay. Interesting. You're going from computers to the pharmaceutical industry, knowing that he had no background in pharmaceuticals. So I found that interesting. Didn't think much of it, left. All I remember is thinking, man, that was the weirdest, most uncomfortable lunch. Almost like, and it was cold in there. It just felt like a dungeon. I didn't feel right in there. And I never thought much into it until now all this is happening with Bill Gates. I'm like, wow. So I think he is a bigger player in this than many people even realize.
It's crazy how much just a person being wealthy gives them influence. And it's crazy just how having money means you get to control people's lives, even though, you didn't study pharmaceuticals, like you're not a scientist, Bill Gates, but like we're all going to listen to what you say blindly. And if you question it, you get deplatformed.
And did you know, I don't know if you know this, Chrissy, but he is now the world's largest landowner of farm land across America right now. And it's so interesting that he is just now developing a meatless burger, right? So
the 3D printed meat. Yeah,
he's locking down all the farmland so nobody will be able to eat real meat. You're going to continue to soy people up. And that's another thing that I think is happening in America. We are feminizing men. The testosterone levels are through the roof low. Men are wearing skinny jeans, driving hybrid Kias with man buns. It's drinking soy lattes. The typical male today, it's pathetic what's happening to men in this country.
Just by the number of like subway fight videos I see where no men step in is like is proof of this, because I just saw a video the other day and I'm like, oh, nobody is like this, this black guy's beating up this Asian guy on the J train in the city. And I'm like, okay, one guy I could see being afraid to get in. Nobody wants to get hurt, right? Nobody wants to get stabbed, but like 3 dudes could have stopped this. And there were at least 3 dudes watching on the subway, and there were at least 2 people videotaping it. So I understand the fear of like, oh, but again, strength in numbers. If there was like 3 to 5 people that went to break it up, like they probably would be able to. And the guy was like knocked out. He was choked out. So it's sad to see. And I totally agree with you. I think like if you look into soy, and if you look into like, I mean, there's so many rabbit holes you could go down. But yeah, the pushing, how hard toxic masculinity has been pushed over the last few years, and
I'm toxic as fuck, and
that's what's crazy is like pretend that like and it's like I'll take toxic masculinity over no masculinity any day, and then people and women are attracted to that, like not that you necessarily have to be like quote toxic, but I joke about it. It's like no, it's like there's still so many real women who love real men, and that doesn't mean you have to own a motorcycle and like crush a beer can on your head, but like be willing to step in and stop somebody from getting the shit beaten out of them. Like that's
instead of just standing there with your phone and filming it, knowing you're going to get the video captured on IG so you can post it and get more followers. That's what's driving me crazy. If you get rid of social media and mainstream media in general, Chrissy, we would not even have COVID-19. Nobody would know what's going on. We'd have a utopia right now. I think social media has ruined society to a point where there's no turning back now.